Hey, how y'all doing over there? This all I can do, you know. I couldn't go to the Lowndes County High School game the other night because the superintendent and the sheriff banned me from the school.
Greetings. This is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines. I served this nation, the United States of America, for over 20 years. I took an oath and obligation to defend this country from both foreign and domestic enemies. I served during the Vietnam era. And today marks the 17th month that I have been under a Lowndes County Sheriff's Department criminal trespass from May 25th, 2013. Yet I violated no law. I was informed by one Lowndes County Sheriff Deputy Thomas that I was banned from all Lowndes County High School property in Lowndes County. I was never issued any paper of any kind. I was only told this verbal as I was entering into the Lowndes County graduation for the year of 2013. All this has been documented here on the YouTube channel. I have written to the Lowndes County Sheriff Department. I have visited with Sheriff Prine himself. I have gone through the probate judge, secretary, the superior courts, as well as the federal courts in Lowndes County. My friend went out to Lowndes County High School Superintendent. Let me repeat. Out to Lowndes County High School School Superintendent Wes Taylor. Since when I was informed by the sheriff deputy that the school superintendent was the one who banned me from all properties of Lowndes County High School following the death of Kendrick Johnson, because I stood near I-75 and talked about how the news media was trying to suppress the information about the death of Kendrick Johnson. And so be that as it may, I'm here to say to you that I violated no law. And so a few months ago, I wrote to the Sheriff Department and the Lowndes County Attorney asking that they provide me with all the information in the Lowndes County Sheriff Law Enforcement Departments on George Boston Rhines concerning the justification and the no notification of this warning that was given to me on May 25th, 2013. I also sent the same type of letter to the Lowndes County High School Superintendent Wes Taylor. And I received a letter back from the school superintendent saying that they didn't have nothing on me that would restrict me from Lowndes County school properties. Lowndes County Sheriff's Department returned their letter back to me saying they had nothing on me, no tapes, no letters, no communication of any kind restricting me from the Lowndes County High School properties that taxpayers paid for in the state of Georgia and other Americans who frequent the state of Georgia to support and purchase and keep that land up, as well as that Lowndes County school. I then sent another letter to the Lowndes County Sheriff Department asking them to remove me in writing from this restriction that they placed me on, that I have on recording. And I just knew that the Lowndes County Sheriff Department would have that tape that I recorded, because it came over the Lowndes County Deputy Radio Deputy Thomas. And so I recorded it, and I have it on record. Yet they never issued me any form, such as the one that was given to the people that was charged in Meigs, Georgia, at a city council meeting when they too had done no wrong. But they gave them a legal document saying that they had violated some law and that they were under a restriction. Lowndes County, Georgia never issued me such a document. Many in Valdosta and Lowndes County believe that they didn't want me on that property in some kind of way dealing with the death of Kendrick Johnson, I guess, because some of the children, I guess, may talk to me. The attorney for Kendrick Johnson, he is aware of this criminal trespass that they put on me, a restriction of the press without justification or notification. I violated no law, and yet they don't have the decency to remove me from this restriction. Now, I have had those in the community who tell me, Ryan, just go on the property anyway and make them arrest you. Prove them. Test them. But I am not like that. I will not violate who I am. I am not a violator. I obey the law. And so when Sheriff Deputy Thomas laid down the law to me with witnesses all around who was there protesting the death of Kendrick Johnson, and I got their names, they can testify that Deputy Sheriff Thomas told me that I could not go on any Lowndes County property, and that if I did not turn my vehicle around, I would be arrested. John H. Robinson, a reverend from Antioch Baptist Church, had grandchildren. He had asked me to record the graduation of his grandson. I was denied the right to accommodate Reverend John H. Robinson in fulfilling the request from a friend. Then, in 2014, he asked me again to record his daughter, little Terry's graduation. But because I'm under this restriction, I could not go and record little Terry's graduation. And so that is a part of their family lineage that will be lost forever, all because I was issued an illegal, unjustified, and unnotified of a criminal trespass warning. Now, some people say, Rhymes, just forget about it. Rack it up as experience and just don't never go on Lowndes County High School property anymore. Well, I'm not that kind of fella, you see. I served during the Vietnam era, and I took an oath and obligation to defend this country against both foreign and domestic enemies. And when anybody come up against the American people and restrict us, then that's a problem for me. And all the news media should join me in this effort. All civil rights organizations that love this nation and love black, white, German, Japanese, and other people on this planet, and particularly in the United States of America, should join me in securing the rights that we thought that we had acquired through the blood, sacrifice, and death of our loved ones. Now, if they can do this to me, and I am of at least average intelligence, or slightly above the United States Armed Forces say about me, so don't you think that if they did this to me, that they can do this to you, your children, and coming generations. They can ban you without justification or notification, and there's nothing you can do about it. While the members of the press, members of the news media will not even interview you to tell your story. No TV station have interviewed me. The Valdosta Daily Times refused to even talk to me so I could tell the people stationed at Moody Air Force Base what could happen to them. Refused me the right to be interviewed so I could tell the students at Valdosta State University, the people that frequent Wild Adventures Theme Park, Kendaloo Golf Course, Wiregrass Technical College, Georgia Military College, and people that just come to Valdosta and Lowndes County to eat at a restaurant, that law enforcement could stop them, charge them for criminal trespass, and they haven't violated no law in Lowndes County, and the Secretary of State won't do nothing about it. The Georgia Attorney General, Sam Olens, are aware of it, and he don't do nothing about it. Governor Nathan Deal is aware of it, and he don't do nothing about it. Then we can only imagine how many of our young black, poor, white, right, and other people are now in jail, in prison, based upon something that a member of law enforcement said and made it law, although it was not law, but because they said it, it was law, it became law, and they suffered, bled, and died through their lineage of their ancestors to preserve and protect these rights. But it seems as if though we are regressing back to the laws as they are in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and other stands, but not, it should not be here in the peach state of Georgia. So in conclusion, I will be seeking the advice, I guess, of the black lawyers for justice out of Washington, D.C. I want the world to know what a real democracy looked like. I want the Soviet Union. I want North Korea. I want the people in Mississippi and Alabama and Tennessee and Michigan and Oregon and New Mexico and Cleveland, Ohio and Detroit and St. Louis and Ferguson and down in Selma. And I want all the human beings to understand and to see what a real democracy looked like in 2014. I want you to see what they are doing to us. Google the Quitman 10+2. They also crumped them up on charges. They also got other people that are crumped up on charges. And because they say it, and because it takes bukus of money to clear your name, then after 17 months, you can end up like me, restricted from the Lowndes County High School. And I know they are just waiting, in my most humble opinion, I believe they will not give me a letter in writing stating that I've been removed from Lowndes County Sheriff Deputy Thomas criminal trespass, which I can prove because I got it recorded and I didn't create it. It hasn't been doctored. You can talk to the people that were standing on the street when I received it. And I have violated no law. They just gave it to me. Just gave it to me. And let me add to you, before May the 25th, they told me that I had already been under that thing 2 weeks before that date, and I didn't even know anything about it. Now look, if they did this to me, in truth, what does that say to you? Let me explain to you short form. Maybe you'll get it. I'm doing a lot of talk, but maybe if I narrow it down to you, just maybe you can understand what I'm saying a little clearer. Just imagine Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, black female columnist Star Parker. Let's just say, and Hannity, let's say they all was riding into Valdosta in a 1965 Chevrolet Impala, and a Lowndes County Sheriff deputy pulled them over. They was going to the Lowndes County High School football game. And President Barack Obama gave the sheriff department orders to stop this vehicle and to charge these patriots and Christians of criminal trespass and restrict them. Tell them they got to turn their Impala around. They can't go to the Lowndes County football game. I will ask you a question. Do you think the Valdosta Daily Times would tell that story when Rush Limbaugh go to the Valdosta Daily Times and say, look what they did to me, they denied me my rights? What do you think the Atlanta Journal and Constitution would do when Glenn Beck asked the Atlanta Journal and Constitution editor, will you run this story? Do you think MSNBC would report that story since that was issued by the President Barack Obama? Do you think 60 Minutes would pick up on that and want that known to the people in America and around the world? Do you believe that the New York Times would come in and ask why did the president restrict these people that had violated no law in Lowndes County, Georgia? Can you understand that? Can you smell that? Can you get the drift of my flavor of the nature of which I'm speaking today? Yet I serve this nation in time of war. And so, as I bring this home to you, the whole world is watching. And it seems as if though when it comes down to the black man, black woman, and their children, after 459 years, that the black man is still not free. It seems as if though we don't have freedom of movement. For I have been restricted to the new plantation outside of where I want to go, where I need to go, where my ancestors have fought to earn the right to go. NAACP, the SCLC, Congressional Black Caucus, you can't say you don't know about it because I've told you all about it. But just imagine, my beautiful Americans, how many of our children, let me repeat this, please listen, how many of our children have been stopped at midnight and told by the Lowndes County Sheriff Department, some deputy say, you under a criminal trespass. You can't go here. You can't go there. And they don't give you no reason why. They said it, and because they said it, it is law. And our young children are not like George Boston Rhymes. And so they go out there on the school anyway, and they get caught and picked up, and they start their career in the prison system where people are making money through the probation. I mean, they fill in the jails and prison with black people that are impoverished, taking the food from the mouths of our babies, while our civil rights and women's rights and other leaders sit back and say nothing. They do the ostrich head duck. And when I say the ostrich head duck, that means they know what's happening to our children. Our children done told the civil rights organizations, I need help with these crooks that masquerade as peacemakers, but we don't stand up with our children. And so we wonder why our children are out of control. We wonder why our children wear their pants down. They say because the government is down. They say because the judicial system is down. They say because the mind of the church are down. They are saying that the black leaders are down. They are saying that the Congressional Black Caucus is down. Down with a system that is not up with the black man, woman, and children. And so I'm going to leave you now, but I want you to know from time to time, I'm going to continue to talk about this nation. I'm going to define what a real democracy look like. I want you to know what the legal system look like. If they do not stand up and respect my rights, then what in heaven are we doing in uniform in the military in the United States Armed Forces when our rights here at home need to be fought for so we can secure the freedom of movement, not only for George Boston Rhymes, but for ourselves, our children, and for coming generations of children. Now, if you think that I am wrong, If you think that I am wrong, just wait a few more days. Today is me. Yesterday it was me. But tomorrow it's going to be you, your children, and coming generations. And so the question remains, if a outstanding citizen, a military veteran, can be stopped by law enforcement for nothing, and banned, restricted, have his name denigrated, my credibility and everything that I've worked for all these years, go down the drain because a so-called peacemaker, not a peacemaker like Jesus, I guess, but just maybe a peacemaker like Satan and his imps. But I'm going to stand today as I stood yesterday. I never betrayed the United States of America. I took an oath and I took an obligation. I committed the code of conduct to memory when I went into the armed forces, that I am an American fighting man. And I was prepared to give my life in the defense of my country then, and I sure as heaven am willing to give my life today for myself, my children, grandchildren, and coming generations of children along with your children. Even if you don't care about me, I love you enough to stand up for what is right here in this peach state of Georgia, in the state of Georgia, and in the United States of America in God's world. Once again, I say to the leaders in the state of Georgia, I say to all those lawyers and all these newspapers and television stations that refuse to tell my story, not my story, but my truth, I want to say to you, sooner or later, you're going to be riding someplace. And because you let this happen to me, and you wouldn't report it, Valdosta Daily Times editor K. Harris, you wouldn't report it. WALB, CBS, and ABC television stations, just like the 14-year-old girl that was hogtied, thrown down on the floor, face down, at Pine Grove Middle School in the Lowndes County school system. And I journeyed with that mother to all the news media outlets in South Georgia, and not one newspaper or television station would tell and publish what happened to that 14-year-old black girl. And the sheriff deputy accused her of striking an educator, and these educators provided statements to the effect that she never struck them. And the rest is history. That mother is in pain today because she lost her case in juvenile court. It was a travesty of justice. The mother and the father are grieving until this day. You can see this on TV, on my YouTube channel, under 14-year-old middle school Pine Grove student. And they are still crying out, George, what is going on in Lowndes County? Well, I know you all don't care about these things. That don't concern you. After all, you're a Christian. You're a Muslim. You're a Jew. You're a Hindu. You just want to serve God and get to heaven. You're not concerned about the everyday, today affairs of our children and coming generations. You're just looking for God to come down and Jesus to come down and for Muhammad to return and for Allah to return and Jehovah to return, and you don't care about these things. So you won't join the people and the freedom fighters of today as they joined them yesterday. But I'm going to say again, according to Galatians 6 and 7, God is not mocked, for whatsoever man sow, that shall he also reap. And when you sow the uncaring attitude and the uncaring spirit about my mother's son, you're going to have a son pretty soon. You're going to have a daughter. They're going to be in the hands of law enforcement. and you ain't gonna do nothing. You gonna laugh and say, he's crazy. But then you gonna be crazy when you reach out for the news media. You call Al Sharpton of MSNBC. Al Sharpton won't hear you. You'll call 60 Minutes, 48 hours, but they're gonna laugh at you for hours after hours, and they're gonna call you crazy. So, that's the America for you. People in Canada, I want to thank you for all the views and comments you give me. Some people right here in Georgia, they won't even comment because they're afraid of their government. They're afraid of the powers that be. But I want to close with this note, and this is the final thing I'm going to say. Please remember this. Regardless of how many times your mother, father, sister, brother, or other go to buildings of spiritual worship. Let me repeat. Never mind about how many times they go to church. If they don't stand up, and if they live in fear, they cannot be worshiping the Jesus or Allah or Jehovah that I believe in. Because the God of the universe, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, have never given his people or his followers the spirit of fear. He gave them love, power, and a sound mind. Don't be deceived. Just because you hear a preacher get in the pulpit, tell you how holy he may be, how many miracles have been performed under his ministry. If he live in fear, and if he can't stand up for what is right in God's word, sad to say it, but according to scriptures, he is a liar and the truth is not in him. For God did not give us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. And Jesus said it best in St. John 8:32. And he said, and ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free. The Lowndes County Sheriff Department have ignored me, and they are supposed to be the peacemakers. I'm going to write them another letter this week or next week. I'm going to ask them again to remove me in writing from this criminal trespass so I can come out from the modern plantation of slavery and restriction and disgrace and move like any other tax-paying citizen in the state of Georgia, in Lowndes County, and in the United States of America. So Afghanistan and Iran can see that democracy means more than words on paper. The ghetto free press, doing what I do, because it must be done.